The Democratic Party has let you down. All right, they sit on this moral high ground and talk about all the bad stuff Republicans are doing or stands for, but where were they to hold them accountable? Where are they now to hold them accountable? Right? Why aren't we talking about the heinous accusations lobbied at the president and his administration all the time? Right? Why do we allow a few billionaires to own pretty much every company and buy up news companies so they can spin the news and change your perspective? Right? Why do we allow these things to happen? Why are we calling progressive candidates the enemy? The establishment Democratic Party is doing that. They allowed it to get this bad, and they haven't learned their lesson. That's one of the biggest things, I think, is the issue with the establishment Democratic Party, is that they get a win and they assume that nothing will go back to how it was, or people will hold themselves accountable and morally righteous, right? There really wasn't a lot of accountability even after the Civil War, right? And it's continued, the lack of accountability throughout our culture, really. Look at the accused actors or famous people, the arrest. People excuse behavior. No more excuses. And no more talk about supporting the lesser of two evils. If there are two evils, abstain or vote for another option. Did you know that for the Democratic primary, there is a write-in candidate? Probably not. You don't have to choose between two establishment Democrats, one of which who does not live here, both of which who did not fight for you during redistricting, who swapped districts almost immediately and told me that they've been in this long enough to know that the governor was going to get his way. More excuses. Lack of accountability, right? Just, well, that's the Republicans, I guess. That's, how it's going to be. But guess what? Now the district is going to flip blue and we're going to win. What happens after that? Where are your principles? Right? If you're not going to stand up for me when the horrible redistricting maps were being put through, how can I trust that you're going to stand up for me in Washington or hold to your beliefs? How can I trust that the positions that you are emailing me now are your real positions when at the start of this whole thing, you didn't mention any of that until you started having a discussion with me? Right? When you start hanging around me, then your positions have changed slightly to align more with kind of what I was saying about war crimes, right? You were not using that language until we had that town hall. And the guy who doesn't live in our district, if we're going to point fingers at Gus Bilirakis and say he's never lived in the district, that's a problem. Hey, we got to do the same thing for Darren, right? And I think that we should be passing legislation to require candidates to live in their district in order to represent their district. I think we should be expanding the House of Representatives so that we have proportional representation. I think we need to be setting term limits. I think we need to be looking at the institutions and the systemic issues that are created from the institutions and work to change that for our future. Right? In the short term, you might be able to flip something and get something passed for a few years, but if you don't change the actual system or hold people accountable, 20 years from now, it'll just be repealed again. We cannot allow intolerance to flourish. We have to call people out, regardless if we like them, if they are on our team. We have to hold higher expectations of our representatives and of everyone, really. we need to get rid of the hypocrisy and change the way that the systems operate. Now, I'm not calling for a radical revolution or a second civil war or complete destruction of our checks and balances. No, I actually think we need to strengthen our checks and balances. I feel like that has been left out of the conversation a lot. Democracy is under threat. Democracy is under threat. What's under threat? How do we fix it? Some people say we need a revolution. 47, I saw the other day, 47% of Americans, according to one study, believe they will see a second civil war in their lifetime. That's insane. How do we let it get to this point? Right? People are so self-centered and concerned with their own power, party gain, wealth gain, that they're not looking towards the future and what we are leaving behind. What will my kids face? What will their kids face? People my age already feel like we don't have a future in America. Democrats, the established ones, in a way, are becoming more conservative, right? They want to conserve the establishment system, conserve the people it protects, conserve their donors. And Republicans are the establishment Republicans who are behind the president. First of all, gross. Secondly, out for themselves. And also are calling the entire government system out. Right? What was Trump's first campaign about? Draining the swamp. People all around the United States, regardless of party, can see that our government system is messed up. So messed up to the point that they voted Trump back into office because the Democrats could not provide a cohesive and good alternative. Because while everyone is calling out Israel, the Democratic establishment continue to support Israel and their war crimes. People say there should be age limits on Congress. People say that younger people need to be in Congress. I am here. I am running no party because I don't think the two parties have my interest in mind. I am running to call attention to real issues. I am running to push people to make the right decision. I am running to push the parties to make better decisions. And I am running to change politics. Right? This is bigger than just me. This is a statement. This is saying, both of you have failed us. We're through with you. We are going independent, NPA, until you both figure it out. Right? And support other parties. Parties have changed over time. The bottom line is things have to change. And what irritates me, another thing, is when people will talk to me and what they take away from our conversations is, oh, that's a good point for the Democrats, or, oh, the Democrats should change their messaging a little bit to like what you're saying, or yeah, I'm going to bring that back, and I think what you just said can help this campaign or that campaign. Buddy, I'm not here to help your favorite candidate's campaign message to get them to alter it, right? If they're altering their message, did they even believe that message in the first place? Again, principle matters. Why did they change their mind? Did they change their mind because they believe it, or did they change their mind because they want to win? Please participate in the primaries this year. Early voting's going on now. Even independents, NPAs, third parties have something to vote for. School board is up in the primaries. So participate. I've been seeing a lot of graphs about the amount of red and blue who have participated in this primary. You know what would be freaking cool, dude, is if we got that other category way up. What kind of statement would that send? So do your part, participate in our democracy, call leaders out, hold them accountable, stop perpetuating the narrative that you claim is so harmful. If it's harmful, it's harmful. You can't make exceptions because you like the person or because they're on your team. We need systemic change. We need candidates who have lived through the poor policy decisions and grown up in this environment. We don't need candidates who are looking to preserve the establishment, the structural systems in place, who are looking to protect their donors or themselves. We need real change, working class interest put above stocks, right? There are things greater in this world than wealth gain. Like if your neighbor can live in a house, or if your neighbor's kids can go to school and have breakfast in the morning, or if your neighbor's parents can go to work and make reasonable money and keep up with inflation, right? These things are across party lines. So cut the bull and let's change the system, right? People insinuate that I don't have enough experience to do this. Buddy, I've lived in the system. And not only that, I have a degree in human services, and I've had experience with Catholic Charities, Tampa Crossroads, Department of Families, and the Flagler Education Foundation. So I have experience. I've seen what the system can do to the vulnerable populations, addictions, homelessness, public school, at-risk youth, right? All of these things go back up to the systems in place. I used to think that I wanted to help people one-on-one and that I would be effective at that. Then I realized through those internships that all of these different vulnerable people had been failed by the system promised to protect them and help them. And there's all this talk, all this distraction about all these different things every day to overwhelm us. We have to stay on track. We have to participate. We have to actively change the system if we want to see change. You will not see an immediate change tomorrow. You have to commit to the future, to your kids' future, to your grandchildren's future, to your neighbor's future. You have to commit to a better world for the future. And in the short term, there are a lot of things that we can be doing, right? People act like that's going to take forever. I don't know if we can do that. Why not? Why not? Now's the time for change. If you're not willing to advocate for that change, to push that change, you're not representing the people, because the people want change, and that is crystal clear. Thanks for watching. Branden Scrivener, running for Federal Congress in District 12. Won't be on the primary, but I am on your general. Please reach out if you want to help. I am fully running this on my own. I could really use your help in the form of donations and volunteering to get my message to more people. And I'm excited to see the change that we can create. Thank you.